Welcome to the Blockchain Hustle, where I take a look at some interesting plays of how blockchain technology is opening up new business vistas across multiple industries. Hi everyone, this is your host Meenu Serene with the fourth episode of the series Blockchain in the New Norm. We've been looking at some blockchain-based safe back-to-work solutions. The previous share was on a blockchain-based COVID health passport solution from a consortium comprising of SIGPA, Open Health, and GuardTime. And today I take a look at a couple of similar ones. The first one which I want to pick up is the International Chamber of Commerce solution along with Perlin-AOKpass and the International SOS. So let me first start with a bit on who these entities are. Now, ICC is a global business institution. It is the largest and it's the most representative business organization in the world. ICC has launched a blockchain-powered app for the COVID-19 compliance. This app is called ICC AOKpass. It has co-developed this with a couple of Singapore-based blockchain startups, and these are Perlin and the other one is AOKpass. And International SOS, which is a medical and a travel security firm, is a first partner to pilot the solution for its employees. The pilot launch was carried out earlier in May. The Singapore company called Energy Drilling, it had to send its 10 members crew from Singapore to Thailand, and this was for conducting some drilling services for their client called PTT Exploration and Production in Thailand. Now this 10-member crew went from Singapore to Thailand aboard an oil rig vessel. Now what would have been the concern for the Thailand authorities for letting this crew into Thailand? This would be first and foremost that the crew had to be COVID-19 tested, to be tested negative, and an assurance that the test results are from an accredited source. And then secondly, to add on to that, a trustable authentication of the result is what is needed. So Energy Drilling, it worked with International SOS for this aspect. The crew was screened, the COVID-19 results were verified, and the verified results were saved by the crew on their individual AOKpass application, which they downloaded on their smartphones. And these results were then sent to the client in Thailand ahead of the travel, and this helped facilitated a smooth entry into Thailand. So that was about the pilot test. And once fully deployed, the users can download this app onto their mobiles and they can securely save the authenticated and the digital copy of their COVID-19 compliance certificate. And the record or the data that's entered, it remains localized within the user's app. It is not saved on any server or anything. It is within their app on their smartphone. Now we come to a major challenge, and that is insights on who is safe and who is not. This is a big fork in this pandemic. So you see the testing methods, they're evolving, and so are the global best practices. And with these specific requirements from the companies and the countries, they also change. So there is no standard immigration or a movement rules and guidelines across countries. Now a digital health passport would be a big step towards safe travel. But navigating the multiple different processes, unnecessary duplications to demonstrate that one is COVID-free, to demonstrate one's verified health status, it is enough to drive one nuts. Ideally, we should have a common global standard that can be used by all the countries. Well, easier said than done. And this is where ICC is doing its bit by flexing its not-for-profit and global business institution status. What ICC is also doing in parallel is to develop standards to underpin its AOKpass, the ICC AOKpass, so that it can be recognized across jurisdictions. Plus, to address the evolving needs, this particular app has to be customizable, and they're working towards that. And further down the road, this can map onto the other medical compliance records too. Now, what does blockchains play out here? For one, when we put this medical compliance record on a medical solution, on a blockchain solution, it decreases the risk of fraud and forgery to a pretty large extent. Plus, blockchain's provenance will give you visibility on where this data is coming from. So, whether it is coming from your accredited source or not can be verified. And thirdly, with the blockchain, the user controls her data, and only the essential information is shared with the employer or with the other authorities and verified third parties. Remember that the data which is entered remains localized within the user's app. So while we're talking about this kind of an immunization passport, I have another example to share here. And this one is the QDX Health ID from a company called Quantum Materials Corporation. Now, Quantum Materials is a nanotechnology and a blockchain company, and it is based in Austin in the US. Now, this blockchain-based service, the QDX Health ID, it provides an end-to-end visibility to support the testing and the immunization for infectious diseases, and it does so on a global scale. The solution, it validates first the individuals being tested, second the entities conducting the test, and third it validates the test kits too. Plus, it warrants that the testing data is tamper-proof and safe. And the target users for this product or this application, it includes both the government entities as well as individuals. So what it does is, as usual, you have the COVID-19 test, the results come out, and it logs the immunity or the antibody certificates onto the blockchain. The individual user interface here is a mobile app using QR code and quantum dots. Quantum dots are the nanoparticles made up of semiconductor materials, and they emit different colors when it is illuminated by light. So it helps for the easy color coding of the test results, green being good to go. The solution is built on Hyperledger Sawtooth blockchain, and the smart contracts are written with the digital asset modeling language, DAML, and it is hosted on the Microsoft Azure cloud. To add on to this, it can also combine with the existing electronic medical record systems, the EMR systems. Now, the technology was initially used for a track and trace system to identify counterfeit products. And then QDX saw this opportunity of the pandemic, and it saw this opportunity to extend this for verifying the test kit and the test results. And that's how QDX Health ID was incepted. Now, why this particular example interested me was for three main reasons. The first one, why I found it interesting, is because it's a holistic solution. It's an end-to-end. This solution validates individuals being tested, the entities which conduct the test, and it validates the test kits too. That is, which test kits are being used for this particular testing. So it tries to close whatever gaps are there in the testing mechanism or the testing framework. The second one is pivoting. How to seize opportunities in your adjacencies. Now, the company had developed a secure authenticity platform, and this it had done by leveraging nanoparticles to mitigate counterfeiting. And as the COVID pandemic unfolded, the company saw a use case of validating the health status of the patients, and it pivoted. The third reason why this particular example interested me was it's integrating with the legacy systems. It's not a siloed solution. It can be integrated with the existing EMR and the analytic systems, as well as the distributed ledger applications. So these are a few examples on the immunization passport. In my next episode, I would share another interesting solution, which is based on a concept of solid pod. Now, what is solid pod and what is this example? For that, you have to wait for the next episode. So do stay tuned. and stay safe. Cheers. You've been listening to the Blockchain Hustle. Did you enjoy this podcast? If so, please do leave a short review, like it, share it, download it, subscribe to it. What should I talk about next? Please do let me know your suggestions by writing to me at meenu@vlsiconsultancy.com or through any of the other contact channels as shared in the episode notes. Thanks.